if the left keeps pushing and pushing and pushing and demonizing and radicalizing America to the point where the America we grew up in, the America today, looks nothing like it, I think you're going to see movements of people, just like these states are saying, I don't like what the federal government's doing, leave me alone, leave my state alone, leave my gun rights alone. And so the states are now fighting and battling against their own federal government. Same thing with individuals. If you live in a state like New York, New Jersey, California, one of these high tax states, and 60 plus cents of every dollar goes to taxes, you're saying, what the hell am I doing this for? A lot of people have told me that. A lot of people are moving to states. I noticed that Bobby Jindal moved to remove his state income tax. He's not stupid. You know what's going to happen in Louisiana? The same thing that's happening in Texas and Florida. Their populations are soaring. Businesses, they're doing a lot better. State governments are fine. They're surviving. They don't have the property taxes that they do in New York, which is obscene. I mean, New York you just pay and pay and pay and pay and pay. And I'm telling you, at some point they keep doing this, you're going to see you're going to see very significant portions of the country. I'd like to see, politically speaking, this happen in 2014. Exactly what happened in 2010. People that are fed up with a power-hungry, radicalized, abusive federal government intruding into every aspect of our lives, people are going to say they're fed up.
Okay, so let's break it down a little bit from here. First of all, notice the projection, right? So what does Hannity say? He goes, the left is just demonizing and pushing and pushing. The left is demonizing and pushing and pushing? You're demonizing and pushing. In the middle of a segment where he's demonizing the left, he says the left is demonizing. That's Republican 101 projection. The stuff that you do, pretend like your enemy, your opponent does it. And then notice how he's trying to normalize secession and literally being unpatriotic. I mean, the definition of being unpatriotic is not loving your country enough. If you want to secede from the country, obviously you don't love it, right? So he's trying to normalize secession. And imagine if it was a Democrat who was going on a similar kind of rant that Hannity's going on. They would scream how unpatriotic they are and how they hate America, etc. But when he does it, he's like, no, you don't understand. It doesn't matter if I am by definition being unpatriotic. I'm Sean Hannity, so definitions don't apply to me. It's amazing the mental gymnastics that these guys do to rationalize their absolute nonsense. And then the point that he makes about taxes. This is something that I've always found amazing about Republicans, because it shows that they don't even do a minimal amount of fact-checking. If high taxes are the problem, and you don't like the fact that most people are taxed too high in your opinion, awesome, I agree with you. You should be voting for Democrats. Now, everybody probably stops there and says, what are you talking about, Kyle? You're not making any sense. Because it's been drilled inside your head for decades on end now that Republicans are the party of tax cuts, Republicans are the party of tax cuts, Republicans are the party of tax cuts, et cetera, et cetera. And they say it over and over to the point where you go, I guess Republicans are the party of tax cuts. Well, actually, do yourself a favor. Go ahead, look up online comparisons between Barack Obama's proposed budget and Mitt Romney's proposed budget when he ran. Look at comparisons between Barack Obama's proposed budget and John McCain's proposed budget in 2008. Do yourself a favor and look it up. You know what you will find across the board in every election in modern history, probably going all the way back to Reagan? You will find that the Democrats always are in favor of tax cuts more so than the Republicans are for 98% of the American people, and in this case with Obama for 99% of the American people. I know that blows people's minds, but if you are making anywhere from nothing to $200,000 or $250,000 a year, if you're not voting for Democrats, you're an idiot. Why? Because the Democrats literally save you more money. They've done the comparison. CNN Money did a great comparison back in 2008 during that election, and they showed how, well, wait a second, McCain's talking about how he's pro-tax cut and Obama's not. And it turns out when you crunch the numbers, even if you make $180,000 a year, Obama cuts your taxes more. So I love how Hannity is talking about, taxes, no facts, no context, doesn't actually tell you specific numbers. See, that's something you always need to notice about Republicans. They'll go on these long rants, no specifics, no facts, no numbers. They just argue based on a straw man of what they think their opponent is.